Despite the fact that Amy Slaton has dropped an enormous amount of weight over the years, I am beginning to fear that the star of Sisters Season 6, who weighs 1,000 pounds, is putting everything on the line. Since the very first episode, I have been a huge fan of the show, and I have been cheering for the Slaton sisters. I was able to witness Amy Slaton, who is 37 years old, and her sister Tammy Slaton, who is 38 years old, completely transform their life by working toward their weight loss objectives. Both of them have put in a lot of effort to achieve a lot of success. When I witness one of them participating in behavior that has the potential to completely undo all of their hard-earned accomplishments, it breaks my heart. Amy weighed more than 400 pounds while Tammy weighed more than 600 pounds when the second season of the unscripted show began airing in the year 2020. Due to the fact that Amy and Tammy weighed a combined 1,000 pounds, the iconic title of the show was derived from them. Both of the sisters have undergone gastric bypass surgery since then, and they are smaller than they have ever been. Amy has never been perfect when it comes to her food and fitness routine, despite the fact that she has accomplished a great deal. During the time that Tammy has been concentrating on her health and fitness, Amy has recently made some decisions regarding her diet that have left me dumbfounded. Is the star of Sisters Season 6, who weighs 1,000 pounds, putting her gastric bypass surgery at risk? For her whole life, Amy has struggled with her weight. Amy, like the other Slaton siblings, has had a difficult time managing her weight throughout her whole life. Due to the fact that their mother had a lot of work to do, the children were to fend for themselves. The choices they made regarding eating were not the finest. During the time when she made her debut on the television show 1,000 Pound Sisters, Amy had reached a weight of 408 pounds. The fact that she was overweight prevented her from having children, despite the fact that she had just been married and was eager to start a family. Amy Halterman was able to reach her goal of 125 pounds by undergoing surgery, and she went on to deliver 2 healthy kids, namely Gage and Glenn Halterman. Amelia underwent surgical weight loss. Amy discovered that she weighed 408 pounds when she stepped on a scale during the first episode of the 1,000 Pound Sisters series. It had been a very long time since she had weighed herself, and she had not known that she had acquired such a significant amount of weight. This caused her to cry. Her other complaint was that she needed an industrial scale in order to perform her weigh-in. In the year 2019, Amy underwent gastric bypass surgery with the assistance of Dr. Charles Proctor. The gastric bypass procedure, as described by the Mayo Clinic, divides a patient's stomach and transfers all of the food to a smaller pouch, which in turn reduces the amount of food that is consumed. Fast food eaten by Amy's eating. Amy has, for the most part, maintained her weight since she underwent weight loss surgery and gave birth to her sons. However, she has not lost as much weight as she ought to have. When she stepped on the scale during the 6th season of 1,000 Pound Sisters, the scale said that she weighed 237 pounds. Amy's weight loss was 169 pounds in total. However, in order to remove the excess skin, she is interested in having skin removal surgery. However, her physician requires that she first shed an additional 30 pounds. With Amy's recent remarks on social media, I find myself wondering if that is even possible. Amy uploaded a video to TikTok in February that showed her and her boyfriend Brian eating fast food late at night in a hotel room as the sun was setting. Amy revealed in the video clip that they had been traveling and arrived in town late when the majority of restaurants had already closed their doors. Amy's caption reads, "Trying Mr. Beast burger, and there it is." In light of the fact that Amy's stomach was physically reduced as a result of the gastric bypass procedure, it is essential to keep in mind that she should avoid overeating. In the event that Amy did not appear to have gained some weight, I would not be as concerned about her eating a cheeseburger from a fast food restaurant. Audiences are worried about Amy's eating habits. Who was concerned about Amy's current eating habits was not the only person who had this issue. A number of fans voiced their worries by posting them in the comment area. After losing a significant amount of weight, it is disheartening to realize that you have gained weight again. Amy's response to another comment that said, "Please be careful and remember you have diabetes, hun, you don't want to gain weight back," was as follows. "I never had diabetes and one cheeseburger is not going to make me gain 200 pounds. I'm sorry that we arrived late and that there wasn't much that was open. Even now, I continue to support the 1,000-pound sister star, and I really hope that she is correct." Sister star weighing 1,000 pounds. Slaton, Amy. Initiated the 28th of October 1987, 37 years old. Numerology sign: a Scorpion. The status of relationships is divorced. Little ones. 2. Amy Slaton's journey has been one of transformation, struggle, and personal growth, all laid bare for the world to see on the reality show 1,000-Pound Sisters. While the show chronicles her and her sister Tammy's attempts to lose weight and live healthier lives, it's impossible to ignore that both women face significant challenges, particularly when it comes to their relationship with food. Amy's decision to undergo gastric bypass surgery was a brave and life-changing step toward reclaiming her health. But as her story unfolds, it becomes apparent that she is continuing to grapple with many of the same issues that led her to surgery in the first place. Despite her efforts to live a healthier life, there is growing concern among fans, medical professionals, and even her own family about the potential consequences of Amy's current eating habits and whether she is at risk of undoing the progress she made. In this article, we will explore the impact of Amy's eating habits after her gastric bypass surgery, the challenges she faces in maintaining a healthy diet, and the critical role that emotional health, support systems, and lifestyle changes play in her ability to succeed. The gastric bypass surgery, a life-changing decision. Amy Slaton's decision to undergo gastric bypass surgery was not an easy one. In many ways, it symbolized a new chapter in her life, one filled with the hope of better health, a more active lifestyle, and a chance at a longer life. As someone who had battled obesity for most of her life, Amy's weight had affected her self-esteem, mobility, and even her ability to take care of herself and her family. Her weight had become a barrier to many of the things she loved and wanted to do. Gastric bypass surgery, a procedure that alters the digestive system to promote weight loss by reducing the stomach's capacity and rerouting the intestines, is a tool that can make a life-changing difference. It is a drastic procedure that requires a long-term commitment to diet, exercise, and lifestyle changes in order to be successful. Patients must also undergo psychological evaluations to ensure they are emotionally prepared for the massive shift that comes with such a procedure. For Amy, the surgery meant losing weight, but it also represented a battle against the eating habits and behaviors that had developed over years of emotional struggles, comfort eating, and a difficult relationship with food. The surgery provided her with a powerful tool, but whether she could make the necessary changes in her day-to-day life was another question entirely. Post-surgery, the challenges of maintaining healthy habits. Post-surgery, the goal for Amy was clear: to embrace healthier habits that would help her lose weight and improve her quality of life. In the initial stages following the surgery, Amy followed the guidelines set by her medical team, which included consuming smaller portions, avoiding high-calorie foods, and sticking to a balanced, nutrient-dense diet. However, as time went on, it became evident that Amy was struggling with some of the same issues that led to her surgery in the first place. For many individuals who undergo gastric bypass surgery, the emotional side of eating can be just as challenging as the physical adjustments. Amy was no exception. As the cameras rolled, viewers saw her emotional connection to food. Food wasn't just sustenance for Amy, it was comfort, a source of happiness, and a way to cope with stress, loneliness, and emotional pain. Whether it was celebrating a milestone or dealing with a difficult day, food had always been a source of relief for Amy. One of the most common risks post-surgery is the tendency to fall back into old eating habits, and this appears to be one of Amy's biggest hurdles. While the surgery shrinks the stomach and limits portion sizes, it doesn't eliminate the mental and emotional struggle that comes with a food addiction or unhealthy eating patterns. The risk of unhealthy eating habits. Why fans are concerned. As fans continue to follow Amy's journey on 1,000-pound sisters, there has been growing concern about her eating habits and how they might be jeopardizing her long-term health. One of the most significant worries is that Amy may be slipping back into old patterns of behavior, which could undo the progress she made with the surgery. Emotional eating. Amy has often spoken about her struggles with emotional eating, using food as a coping mechanism when things get tough. Whether it's dealing with stress, family issues, or even celebrating a small victory, food has played a central role in her emotional life. Unfortunately, after gastric bypass surgery, emotional eating can still pose a significant challenge. Since Amy is still in the process of adjusting to her new lifestyle, it's concerning that she might turn to food for comfort when things get difficult, rather than finding healthier ways to cope with her emotions. Poor food choices. Despite her surgery, Amy has been seen eating foods that are not in line with the guidelines set for successful post-bariatric surgery recovery. Foods high in sugar, fat, and processed carbohydrates can cause discomfort, nausea, and even dumping syndrome, a condition in which food moves too quickly through the stomach and intestines. In addition to the physical discomfort, these foods can also slow or completely halt weight loss efforts, which defeats the purpose of undergoing such a significant medical procedure in the first place. While it's normal for people to have occasional cravings, it's concerning when those cravings seem to dominate Amy's eating habits. She's been seen indulging in fast food, junk food, and sweets, items that can be detrimental to her health and hinder her weight loss goals. In one particular episode, fans were alarmed when Amy admitted to craving fast food on multiple occasions, especially when she felt overwhelmed or stressed. Lack of consistency. Another red flag for fans is Amy's apparent inconsistency when it comes to sticking to a healthy diet. She's made progress, but there are moments where she seems to struggle to maintain that progress. Whether it's indulging in her favorite comfort foods or skipping exercise routines, the inconsistency can be worrisome. Amy's experience underscores the difficulty many people face in making permanent, life-changing adjustments after bariatric surgery. Setting a negative example. Amy's influence on viewers is not to be underestimated. As a reality TV star, her actions are scrutinized by fans, many of whom look up to her for inspiration. When Amy is seen slipping back into old habits, it sends a mixed message to those who are following in her footsteps. Fans may wonder if they too could face the same struggles, even with the help of weight loss surgery. If Amy doesn't continue to model healthy behaviors, it could have a negative effect on her audience, particularly those who might be at risk of relying on unhealthy coping mechanisms themselves. The psychological side. What Amy needs to address. It's clear that Amy's post-surgery struggles are not purely physical. Her eating habits are deeply tied to emotional and psychological factors. Amy's attachment to food is not just about cravings or bad habits. It's about how food has played a central role in her life for years. It has been a source of comfort, an emotional buffer, and a way to deal with life's challenges. Gastric bypass surgery is only one part of the equation. The real work comes in understanding the emotional triggers that lead to unhealthy eating and finding ways to cope with them. Without addressing the psychological side of weight loss, Amy could continue to struggle with unhealthy eating habits, regardless of the size of her stomach. Therapy or counseling is one option that could help Amy better understand her relationship with food. Many bariatric patients participate in ongoing psychological support to help them navigate the emotional aspects of their recovery. For Amy, this could be a crucial step in her journey toward lasting change. She may need to explore alternative coping mechanisms, such as meditation, exercise, or journaling to replace the emotional eating habits she has relied on for so long. The importance of support. Will Amy get the help she needs? Throughout her journey, Amy has had the support of her sister Tammy and her family, but it's unclear whether Amy has been fully supported in terms of the emotional work she needs to do. Support from family and friends is vital in any weight loss journey, but it's also important to have professional guidance to address the underlying emotional issues. Amy's ability to maintain her weight loss and live a healthier life depends not only on the food choices she makes but also on her mental health. If she continues to ignore the psychological side of her journey, her eating habits may continue to pose a threat to her long-term success. What can Amy do moving forward? For Amy, the future of her weight loss journey will depend on her ability to make lasting changes, not just in her diet but also in her mindset. It's important for Amy to recognize the ongoing battle she faces and take steps to break free from old patterns. Here are a few things she could focus on moving forward. Seeking professional support. Working with a therapist or counselor could help Amy understand her emotional triggers and develop healthier coping strategies. Building a routine. Consistency is key, so establishing a routine for meals and exercise could help Amy stay on track. This routine would help her develop a sense of control over her eating habits. Celebrating small wins. Amy could continue to celebrate her accomplishments, but instead of turning to food, she could find new ways to reward herself. Exercise, relaxation, or spending time with loved ones could replace old food-centric habits. Engaging with fans. Amy could also benefit from connecting with her fans in an honest way, acknowledging her struggles and sharing the lessons she's learning. This might help her stay accountable while also inspiring others facing similar challenges. Amy Slaton's journey is far from over. Amy Slaton's gastric bypass surgery was a monumental step toward a healthier life, but as her journey shows, the road to lasting change is long and filled with challenges. Fans have grown concerned that her unhealthy eating habits are putting her progress at risk, but it's important to remember that Amy is still on a journey, one that is filled with setbacks, learning, and growth. Ultimately, Amy has the power to change her life, but it will take continued effort, self-awareness, and professional support. By acknowledging her struggles with food, addressing the psychological factors at play, and committing to healthier habits, Amy can overcome the challenges she faces and continue her path toward better health. The journey may be difficult, but it is far from impossible. Fans will be rooting for her every step of the way, hoping that Amy can overcome her unhealthy habits and reclaim her future.